Okay, well, we will continue with the program today. And the next presentation, Community Resources for Caregivers, will be presented by Felipa Wilmot with the Area Agency on Aging, and Viola Monrreal also with the Aging and Disability Resource Center. So let's give them a welcome.
Good morning. Okay, I'm going to tell you about our agency and the services we provide. We have a long name. It's not just Area Agency on Aging of the Coastal Bend, but we're also Aging and Disability Resource Center. And that's why the second half of my presentation will be shared with Viola Monrreal, so she can tell us all about that center and what is offered. Okay, do most of you all know where our agency is located?
No, I do not.
No? Okay, we're at 2910 Leopard, and we're right across Miller High School. So I invite you to come visit us at 2910 Leopard because we have lots of information for family caregivers, for Medicare beneficiaries, and just trying to stay on top with the information that's coming out about Medicare. It's challenging, and we're going to tell you about how you can get help as well if you're a Medicare beneficiary. So now that you know where our location is, I hope those that have not been there can come and visit, because we have lots of resources for professionals and for them to hand out, and also for the families. Area Agency on Aging provides support services for older adults and their caregivers. Okay. In fact, I didn't mention, but we also have a toll-free number in order to reach us, because we do cover 12 counties. Okay? I'm going to talk about some of the services that we provide, and what I really am real proud of our agency is the fact that when you call our agency, I would say 99% of the time, you will have a live person that will answer. And not all area agencies on aging across the state, there's 28 of them, have that type of service. So I really proud myself about always knowing that you're going to hear a live person when you call that number, at least most of the time. And so we get calls from around the Coastal Bend, people inquiring about services, what's out there to help our elderly, to support our caregivers, to support also grandparents raising grandchildren, and even aunts and uncles that are doing that as well. At this time, I want to introduce to you Gracie Cooley. Gracie Cooley contracts with us, and she is actually right now doing legal awareness that is part of benefits counseling. And benefits counseling is for people who receive Medicare or elderly that have consumer issues as well with Medicare, Medicaid, needing assistance. This program helps in that area. But Gracie right now, she is helping out with legal awareness, so she's going to talk about an event that's coming up. And I'm going to be passing out those flyers while she speaks. Gracie?
Okay, instead of saying good morning, let's say buenos dias. Okay, and you know I'm Gracie Cooley, and I'm doing some work with Area Agency on Aging. And I want to show you this book here, Medicare and You. How many of you are familiar with this book? I see a couple of hands. I attended a workshop in August in Austin, and they said to advise all seniors, do not throw away this book. It is a very important book, and the lady instructed us to tell all seniors that you come in contact with. Most of them are faith-based, so you need to tell them this is your Medicare Bible. Do not throw it away. And I cannot tell you how important this book is. It goes over your Medicare Part A, Part B, C, and D. And it tells you what each of those programs are. It has a table of contents like any book that is sent to you or that you get from the library. Your table of contents is alphabetized. So you have a question, you just go to that letter in that index and it'll help you. Okay? I have a couple of 2013 books with me, and they'll be at the Area on Aging table, so please come by and see me during break, okay? The 2013. Well, you might say, Miss Cooley, we are almost 2014. What's up with this? 2014 should be sent to all Medicare recipients at the beginning of October. Now, we know what we are facing with our government, so let us hope that these had been published and are on their way to all Medicare recipients. I can tell you that in our office at 2910 Leopard, we have the Spanish version. So if we have the Spanish version, Mr. Garza, we have the Spanish version en español, okay? So that means hopefully the English has also been published. If you're at a loss and you're visiting a senior or you want to give them information, Area Agency on Aging office does get a supply. So just come by and visit us, okay? Ms. Wilmot, I think went ahead and passed out a flyer to each of you. We have a Medicare open enrollment clinic coming up. And look at your flyer. Somebody raise their hand and tell me the date. What day do we have the Medicare Open Enrollment Clinic?
October 21st.
What year? Okay, and it's from 8 to 12. So you have 4 hours, everybody in the audience. Bring somebody to the clinic. There are so many questions that our seniors have, and we do not need to be confused. This presentation will help seniors, again, on your flyer, clinic overview. They are going to go over the Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D. Tell your seniors that you come in contact with. You have a question, write down your question. Come prepared with your question. Also on your flyer, what to bring. You bring your driver's license, social security number, Medicare card, current insurance card if you have one, and then proof of income information. So all of this is available so we do not go around confused. Again, remind your seniors, if they don't get the Medicare and You, we have a supply. And I believe, Lisa in the back, do all senior citizen centers also have a supply?
We don't have a supply for distribution.
Okay, okay. But
we do have staff that can assist with Medicare open enrollment.
Very good.
At 4 locations, Glendale Senior Center, Greenwood, Garden, and at Ethel Iron.
Okay, did everybody hear that? Lindale, Lisa, can you repeat it? Lindale?
Lindale Senior Center, the Garden.
The Garden on Greeley.
Yes. Then Greenwood.
Greenwood.
And the Ethel Iron Senior Center.
Okay, and where is the Ethel Irely?
It is in Flower Bluff.
Flower Bluff, okay. So you have 4 centers with the city that also provide this help. So again, don't let the seniors go around confused. There are clinics, there are benefits counselors that can help. Thank you for your time, and I'll be at the area agency table. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to help you. And I do have a couple of books with me, the 2013. Okay? Thank you very much.
I just have one real quick question. I've been told that if you already signed up for Medicare, we do not have to do anything.
Okay, it is very wise. It is very wise to look at your plan every year. It is like any plan that you have, say life insurance, your possible IRAs. You need to look at your plan and make sure. A lot of medicines change through different years, through months. You know, the amount that you pay for your medicines change. Okay.
People like us, we're good.
Okay, if you're very comfortable with your plan and you're not having to pay for your prescriptions, again, that is a judgment call. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Just remember that if you are a Medicare beneficiary, there is open enrollment starting October 15th through December 7th. There's 3 things you consider when you're shopping around for the best plan. Just because you had all your prescriptions covered this year doesn't mean it's going to continue next year, because the formularies change sometimes. So what you need to think about is the cost, coverage, and convenience. And that's why you shop around. Sometimes it's hard for our elderly. That's why our agency is there to assist people. Leti Ochoa does it every day. All day. She helps people, and then you have the senior centers that were mentioned as well. So I hope you all are able to make it to the clinic if you have any questions regarding that. Okay, at this time, and I apologize, but I forgot to introduce our director for Area Agency on Aging, Betty Lamb, if you can please stand. Okay. She is our director for Area Agency on Aging, and I know she came out here to visit us for a short while because she's got lots of things to do back at the office, but we're glad you made it this morning, Betty. The other service that we provide is care coordination, and that's part of respite as well. Different kind of respite that Viola Monrreal will be speaking about, but this is a service that's available. It's based on need, and also it is short-term, but it tries to fill in the gap till you do some planning as to what you are going to need to do to get long-term care services. And in fact, the care coordinators help in that process as well. The next program is the Family Caregiver Support Program, and that's the one I'm going to be talking a little bit more of this morning. And then we have the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Services. How many of you are familiar with the Ombudsman Program? Okay, just a few hands. Okay, the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program is an advocacy program for families, for residents that are in nursing homes and assisted living. You know, sometimes they have issues and sometimes they address it with staff and they can't seem to resolve those issues. So then they bring in an ombudsman. Our managing local ombudsman is Diana De Leon at our agency, and she recruits, hires, or actually trains volunteers to go out into nursing homes to be that ear, that nose, that hand for the residents and families, so that she can advocate together with her volunteers for those residents in nursing homes and assisted living. It's a wonderful program, and she's always looking for volunteers. The next one is Matter of Balance and Medication Management, and that's something that probably Viola will elaborate a little bit more because that's the program she handles as well. The next slide is just mentions that we are also aging in a disability resource center, and I'm not going to go through that since Viola will be covering that. This is my baby, the National Family Caregiver Support Program. Business as usual. We don't know what's going to happen with this government shutdown, but we remain optimistic. The Department of Aging and Disability Services, we're partly funded by them, and they said right now, you know, we continue to provide the services that we are providing. The families that we serve are actually adult family members or other informal caregivers, age 18 and older, providing care to individuals 60 years of age and older. We also serve adult family members or other informal caregivers, age 18 and older, providing care to individuals of any age with Alzheimer's disease and related disorders. You know what we have found? That there are quite a few people out there that are in their 40s and 50s that are being diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And so we provide support for those families as well. And like I mentioned earlier, we also work with grandparents and other relatives who are not parents that are 55 years of age and older, providing care to children under the age of 18. And just recently we had a grandparents and other relatives raising children expo at the American Center, and we have something each year for grandparents and other relatives raising children, and we have support groups, and we try to provide them the tools they need. The grandparents and other relatives are 55 years of age and older that also are providing care to adults age 18, between ages 18 and 59 with disabilities. Because we have found that there's also a lot of elderly people out there taking care of their loved ones who had a developmental disability, and they continue to care for them. Well, they also receive support services. Okay, so what does the Family Caregiver Support Program provide? It provides information to caregivers about available services. We help you in gaining access to those services. We also have different kinds of training for family caregivers. We provide individual counseling and organization of support groups is another role that we play. So we have quite a few support groups going on in not just in Corpus but in the coastal bend. Another of the services is respite care and also supplemental services on a limited basis. One of the things we can do if funds are available as well is to provide minor home modifications for our elderly. One of the things that we have at our office is a caregiver lab, and we have donations from the community that donate adaptive aids, also diapers, and other kinds of items that families can use, because there are families out there that they don't have insurance or they can't afford the copay and they need an adaptive aid item. Well, guess what? If we have it, we lend it out and we tell them if this item is still good by the time you're done, please return it, because then we can help another family with that item. And we have wonderful people out in the community that really do bring in stuff all the time. So we're very grateful for that, because we can help families that don't have the resources to get those items. What is the purpose of the Family Caregiver Support Program? Well, actually, studies have shown that this program can reduce caregiver depression, anxiety, and stress, and enable them to provide care longer, thereby avoiding or delaying the need for costly institutional care. And we have learned that if we provide them the tools that they need, then we're going to minimize that chance of them going into premature placement in a nursing home or assisted living. And Family Caregiver Alliance actually came out with a study that revealed that there are 4 major service needs, and that's for families. They have the need for caregiver education and training, counseling, help in navigating the system, and support services. So guess what? I think we're right on target in providing the services that we do, and I'm just going to briefly mention some of those services that we provide. We have a care provider training. I know some of you that I see here have come to this 8-hour training, but we encourage caregivers, if they can't come 8 hours, they can come and take the first part one time and then the next part the other. We have it every other month. We have had nursing students that have also participated in this training, and it's really an overview of working with the elderly to enhance and promote quality of life in the home. And the modules that are covered is roles and responsibilities of a care provider, assisting with personal care, how to help someone who uses mobility aids, caring for someone with early to mid stage and mid to late stage of Alzheimer's. Another training we do is the Red Cross training, and that has 8 modules. And this is a very practical training. I find myself doing this training often in churches. The churches will invite me to come and do, specifically there's actually 2 that are very important for them. And that's the legal and financial matters, and also the home safety. So those are the ones that are usually requested. If you are a member of a church, or you have, I was just talking to someone from the housing authority, or from, not housing authority, but from a senior residential place, and that's something that we do as well, to provide that information to our seniors living in that type of housing. Then we have the stress busting program. Do we have any graduates here from the stress busting program? Yes, we have several graduates from the stress busting program. This is a wonderful program. It has really changed a lot of our caregivers' train of thought. And they have been able to change their expectations and also find a new normal for their lives in their caregiving journey. And this is a 9-week program. We ask you to commit, those 9 weeks for an hour and a half. And what you do is you learn stress management techniques and also how to cope, because that in itself is a great challenge for a lot of family caregivers. The other training that we do, and this is in partnership also that I will be talking about Del Mar. We have a partnership with Del Mar, and we do, this is one of the trainings that we do. And there are 2 components, and that's a certified and non-certified. The certified is usually for 6 weeks, and they did it last summer at Del Mar. And they had 6 graduates, and after they were done with the course, they were eligible to take the CNA test, and all of them who took the 6-week program, they were able to get their certification. So we're real happy about that. Then we also do the non-certified. We do it here in the care house that we have. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But this program teaches physical skills and dementia care. Actually, this program was developed by the Schmedding Center for Senior Health and Education of Northwest Arkansas. It is an evidence-based program that teaches 57 skills and hands-on caregiving methods. It utilizes the 3 H's concept, and I love that. What do you think the 3 H's would be? Any idea? The head, the heart, and the hands. And what you need is knowledge to be a caregiver. You need the heart, the compassion, and you need the skills to help people. So I just love that concept as we teach it. That's an area that we really emphasize. In fact, we're going to be doing a meeting training starting this month on the 14th, if I remember correctly. If you need more information of any of these trainings I'm talking about, please stop by our table, which is just outside this door, and we will give you more information. It is 3 Thursdays that we do it because we break it up in 3 sessions, 4 hours a session. So we are going to be doing it for 3 Thursdays in a row, and it'll be 4 hours each session, so it'll be 3 sessions. So if anyone is interested in this one, let us know. We have the virtual dementia tour. How many have participated already in this tour? Yeah, we have several hands that have gone up. Let me tell you, this is a scientifically proven method designed to build sensitivity and awareness in individuals caring for those with dementia. What the virtual dementia tour does, you're actually garbed. They put stuff on you to alter your senses and perception to stimulate the day-to-day experiences of people with the neurological disorders like Alzheimer's. The virtual dementia tour experience becomes your window into their world. We will be having the community virtual dementia tour again in December, if not November, and we will let you know through this newsletter. I know there's probably several people that get this newsletter already, but if you don't get one and you want to know what's going on through this program, just sign up for the newsletter and you will get it monthly, and you get all these flyers of all the upcoming events. Okay, so this is a good tool for caregivers to help them stay connected, but it's also a good tool for professionals so that they can also help us disseminate this information. And we have some very proactive people back there. I know Miltan, she's always handing out those flyers everywhere she goes and encourages people. And we really appreciate those professionals that are out there letting people know of the services that are provided. This is the Del Mar College partnership I was telling you about earlier. We do have a care house. It's right here on the building 1. And it's actually an apartment simulation lab that provides an actual home environment for family members and students to practice caregiving skills. There we do the stress busting program, the meeting method training, and also the virtual dementia tour. The simulation lab utilizes home medical equipment, practice mannequin, and adaptive tools for independent living. Del Mar firefighters, EMT, and nursing students, including a DME company, assist with demonstrations when the meeting method training physical skills training is taught. Also, you know what is the advantage of having most of the trainings here? Is that the nursing students, they provide respite. If you want to come for the trainings that we offer here and you just don't have a place for your loved one, then actually the nursing students will do respite where they can stay with your loved one while you attend class. Dr. Donna Huddleston is the person that we have partnered up with, and she's the one that does the teaching, and myself, and it has been a wonderful experience to be able to have this type of a partnership. Then we have local resources, and you may wonder, well, yeah, you talked about information, but what kind of information do you provide? Well, I just listed there a few of the things that you can obtain through our agency, and you have the PowerPoint handout, so I'm not going to read this to you. Just you can refer that and know that that's available through our office. Then we have the Caregiver Teleconnection. This is a free bilingual confidential program, and we have some of those flyers on our table because we got it late this month and we did not include it in the newsletter. But let me tell you, this is a wonderful tool to utilize so you can learn as a caregiver. You know, sometimes it's hard to get away and go to a support group. This is like a support group, but you learn by phone. Out of the comfort of your home, you call in, it tells you all the speakers that are going to have that month and the topics, and you just call the number below to register, and they'll give you the number you're going to call the day of that session. It's a wonderful tool, and I hope more people can participate in. We have the lifespan respite. And this is something fairly new that Viola will be talking about, and I'm going to skip it. We have the Oasis. I was talking to a caregiver this morning and telling her about the Oasis. It's actually a ministry of First United Methodist Church, the church that's on Shoreline, where the Statue of Christ is. They have volunteers, and they work with persons with dementia. It's actually an opportunity for the caregivers to take their loved one. It's every Friday. It used to be once a month, then they went to twice a month. Now they offer it every Friday from 9:30 to 1:30. And they have different types of activities for the participants. They have, they provide lunch as well. I mean, you just can't lose, especially if it's free of charge. So this is something that's available, and you can contact the people that are there on this slide. There's also a place for family caregivers to go to. It's a Caregiver SOS at Lindell Center. I really like the idea that there's a place that you can go as a caregiver to meet other caregivers and also take your loved one. They have activities for the loved one as well, so they can participate. And also they provide community resources, and they do have, I think, a noon support group every month, and also a session with Dr. P every month. I'm not sure if it's the last Friday of the month, but it's a good place to go to for family caregivers. Then there's some state resources listed there, and I've given you a lot of information, and you might lose that handout and all the papers you have. But if you need social services, if you can just remember 3 numbers, which is 211, and you need help as a grandmother, or you need help as a caregiver, or you're an elderly person and you need assistance and you can't remember where to call, if you can just memorize the 211, you're doing good. They're going to actually give you the number that you need to call. There's also the Department of Age and Disability Services and the services they provide. Texas Health and Human Services. The legal hotline for Texas, that's a good number for people to know of, because you can speak to an attorney if you have legal questions. If you don't get them on the when you call, you leave a message and they'll call you back. It's a wonderful free service. Also, the Elder Care Locator is very helpful in trying to find resources and tools for family caregivers. There's my contact information, and at this time, I'm going to go ahead and invite Viola Monrreal to come, and she's going to tell us all about the Aging and Disability Resource Center. Thank you.
y'all over this. See if I can stand over here. Good morning, it's still morning. A lot of information, a lot of great information that y'all are receiving today in regards to where to go, who to call when you're needing different types of services. What Felipa had mentioned earlier was that we have a new part to the Area Agency on Aging, which is the Aging and Disability Resource Center. How many here have not heard or don't know what an ADRC is or what they do? You don't know? Okay, so there are some people here that aren't aware of what an ADRC is or does. So I'm going to share some of that information with you. What I'm going to hopefully hope that you go away with today is learning, if I can get this to work right, is to identify the appropriate referrals that an individual needs to go to, or who to go to, or what it is that you're needing to find out. So Aging and Disability Resource Centers are actually nationwide. They're all over in different states. They're fairly new to the state of Texas, where we have had them in existence probably just for about 6 or 7 years. We've been in existence about a little over 2 years. There are 14 ADRCs right now in the state of Texas. They're in the process of adding an additional 6 to 9 ADRCs, which are Aging and Disability Resource Centers, to cover every county in the state of Texas. So hopefully within the middle part of 2014, or by the end of 2014, you will have at least 20 to 21 additional ADRCs in Texas that someone can call. The majority of them are located within a AAA, what we call Aging and Area Agency on Aging. But some are located within a Center for Independent Living, or they're located within a what are known as MHMRs, or local authorities, now known as behavioral health centers. So the goal of an ADRC is to serve as a visible community resource that's known in the community, and to serve as a single point of entry into long-term care services and supports. So what does that mean exactly? So for example, you heard Elsa and Lisa speak about the senior centers this morning. You heard Felipa speak about the services with the Area Agency on Aging, and she gave you some resources for Texas Department on Aging and Disability Resources, for 211, and so forth. So it can become very confusing as an individual seeking out services for different things that you may be in need of. So who do you call? Do you call the Area Agency on Aging? Do you call the Senior Center? Do you call 211? Do you call Dad's 800 number? Who is it that you call? So what an ADRC does is it helps to navigate an individual into long-term care services and supports. So for example, if you have an individual with a disability, doesn't matter what the disability is, doesn't matter what the age is. On the AAA side, we normally assist individuals 60 and over, and that's what we did primarily as of 2.5 years ago. But since the ADRC, now we can assist persons with disabilities of any age. So if it's a senior, if it's a young adult, if it's a teenager, if it's a child with a disability, then what we can do is help navigate the family member into connecting them into those services that they're in need of. So that it can become very daunting, very confusing, especially if you're a young parent or if you're new to a disability, because any of us can get a disability at any time in our lives. We're not guaranteed that tomorrow or today we walk out of here and we're not going to get hit by a car and end up disabled. So that's a world that's new to us, new to a family member, that's new to disabilities. So what we're in existence to do is to empower the individuals of any age and their families with the information so that they can access the resources so that they can make informed decisions or choices. So the way that that is accomplished is that they can contact or come to any AAA, that's an ADRC, or go into any of our core partner locations, and they're getting the same information. So what does it mean by core partner locations? I'm going to explain a little bit more about that to you. But one of the reasons that the ADRCs are so important is because everyone is aging every day, and there's a huge explosion of baby boomers that are coming up, and the growth of the population of those individuals 60 and over is growing tremendously. There's a fragmentation in services where certain agencies are only doing little bits of pieces of services, and you as a consumer are having to figure out how to put that puzzle together. How do those pieces work? Do I qualify for Medicare? Do I qualify for Medicaid? Do I know the difference between the two? Many times people don't even know what the difference between Medicare and Medicaid are and who to go to access those services. So that's where an ADRC becomes really important, so that you can walk into one of the ADRCs or call us, and then you're able to get that information. So whether you're needing the services now or you're needing the services in the future, or you know of someone that may need the services, then you can refer them our way and we can help them put the pieces together. So one of the things that we do is to help navigate the system into the long-term care services and supports by providing various aspects to a consumer's need. So for example, if you walked into our offices, and I had mentioned that we have relationships with our core partners, and how does that work? The way that it works is that as an ADRC, you are required to have certain partnerships, which are considered the core partnerships. One of those partnerships is with an area agency on aging. We just happen to be housed within an area agency on aging. The other is what is known as a CIL, a Center for Independent Living. And what a CIL does is they work with persons of any age with any type of disability in assisting individuals with case management services and helping them link into long-term care services and supports. One of the other partners that we're required to have is with local authorities, which you may know them as an MHMR. In our community, in our service area, we have two. Most only have one. We have Coastal Plains, which covers the surrounding areas outside of Nueces County, and we have a Behavioral Health Center of Nueces County, which services individuals with mental health issues or MR issues in the Coastal Bend area. So that's another one that we are required to have a partnership with. We have other, what we call second-tier partnerships that we coordinate and collaborate services with. We also have co-locations where some of those agencies are co-located within our agency. The Coastal Bend Center for Independent Living is one of those agencies, as is Behavioral Health Center. So if you were to walk in our doors, you're actually walking into several offices. You're walking into the Coastal Bend Council of Governments, the Area Agency on Aging, the Aging and Disability Resource Center, Center for Independent Living, and Behavioral Health Center. All of those at one location. So that depending on what your needs are and what it is that you're looking for, the types of services, if you walk into our door, and that's why it's saying a single point of entry to long-term care services and supports. The same thing happens on the other end. If you're walking into one of our core partners' doors, then you're going to be receiving the same information as if you're receiving in our agency. And the reason for that is that their staff, our staff, are all getting the same training. We are all training each other's staff so that we are all on the same page. We all know what each other's services are, what their application processes are, and what it is that you're looking for specifically so we can link you to and help you navigate that system. So we provide, if someone comes into our agency and they're not knowing where to go for services, they can do it either over the phone by calling us, they can walk through our doors and we'll see you face to face, or we can link you to that individual agency whether you call our offices or whether you walk through our doors if they are not co-located in our offices. So what we're trying to not do is give you the runaround so that if Gracie or Milton called, we're not saying, well, call this number, and then you call this number, and they say, well, we're not really the agency that does that. You need to actually call this other number, and then you call this other number, and each time you're calling, you're giving your whole story as to what services you're looking for. So it can become very frustrating when you're not knowing where to go. So it makes it a lot easier when you're dealing with complex situations and there's multi-needs within the family. There's cross-agency services that you're needing, so that you're not needing services from just one agency. You may be needing services from 2 or 3, 4, 5 different agencies. But if you're walking through one door, how great is it that that one person that you're speaking with can assist you in your application for Medicare, for food stamps, can tell you about long-term care services and supports. We have our ombudsman there. We have our family caregiver programs. We can tell you about the educational programs that are going on between the partnerships between Del Mar College, AAA, ADRC, and the Costa Bend area. How great is that? Many times in the past, people have called and they're very, very frustrated, and they're saying, you're the 5th person I spoke to. I just spoke to a lady yesterday that called and she said, you're the 4th person I speak to, and each time I call, they're giving me someone else's number to call. So I listened to her story again, and I said, you know what, the person that you were given the 3rd time to call was actually the correct person, except that that person was on vacation, and her assistant wasn't able to assist her. So the person that we needed to assist her within our agency was also on vacation. So I said, you know what, let me contact our person on vacation, because all staff knows whether we're on vacation or not, we get calls. And said, let me see what she wants me to do to assist you with your situation. So I did that. I contacted the other staff person. She said, you know, tell her to do this, this, and this. And she has 10 days to respond to this letter. Have her come in on Monday. I'm back from vacation on Monday, except she got sick on vacation. But if I'm not able to make it on Monday, then I will call you on Monday, meaning me, and then I can help you to help her, walk her through the process. So I said, okay. So I called her back, explained the whole situation, the conversation that had just taken place, and she said, okay, but Monday will be the 9th day, and I have 10 days to respond to this letter. So I said, that you're correct. But as long as your letter is postmarked within that 10th day, which is Tuesday, you're still good to go. So Monday, you will come in, or we will call you, and we will get the situation rectified on Monday. This is my name. This is who you are speaking with. I am personally giving you my word that on Monday, we will get this situation resolved. So she says, thank you so much. I've been dealing with this. I've called attorneys. I've been dealing this since I received this notice, and I didn't know what to do. I really don't have the money to speak with an attorney. The other person that I needed to speak with won't be back till the end of next week, which, you know, will be after the time limit. I mean, the time starts ticking. So this is just to give you kind of a glimpse at the everyday situations that we deal with under an ADRC. So this is kind of how it looks. If you'll see, there's no wrong door to the right services within the entities that collaborate with our agency. So you see the ADRC is right in the middle. But at the very top, you see somebody that's very confused. They don't know where to go. What do I do? Who do I call? I don't know. So as Felipa had mentioned, if you remember just 3 numbers, 211, we have a partnership with 211. So if you call them and you say, I need the phone number to the food stamp office in Corpus Christi, Texas, they're going to give you that number. But if you call and you say, I have a mother, she has dementia, I have to work, I'm having to go check on her on my lunch hour, I've missed work, I've already been reprimanded, I've run out of sick leave, I've run out of vacation, I've exhausted my FMLA, I don't know what to do, then what 211 is going to do, it's not simply one phone number in one situation to resolve, your particular case. So what they're going to do is they're going to connect you to the ADRC so that you're walking into one door, and we have those partnerships that can either assist you or we can provide you with that information on how that's going to work, what it is that you need to do. So this is, how it's looking. So Felipa had mentioned lifespan respite. Through an ADRC, what happens is that we have a lot of funding opportunities that come our way. And what we've done is, one of the funding opportunities that we received was the Lifespan Respite Care Program. And that's to help individuals that are caring for a loved one with a disability of any age. A child, a teenager, a young adult, person under the age of 60, person over the age of 60. Age does not matter. If you are a caregiver and you're caring for someone, or you know of someone that's caring for someone and they need respite away from their caregiving duties and responsibilities, then we're the agency that you need to contact. This is done on a temporary basis, and during that temporary basis, what we do is we look to see how we can get you connected into long-term care services and supports. And we'll explain how that works with you. We will sit with you one-on-one if this is your choice. We will go to your home, meet with you face-to-face, or we can speak with you over the phone. However you choose to do it, whichever way is more convenient for you. So what this grant has done, given us, is the opportunity to partner with Del Mar College and to add all of these trainings that have become available, the virtual dementia training, the caregiver training, the certified, the uncertified. And the reason for that is, one of the goals of this program is to get more individuals out there that are trained caregivers, whether it's a nursing student, because if you stop and think about it, nurses and CNAs are providing some form of caregiving to your loved one. So this is why we really have prospered, our agency has, through this particular program. As Felipa mentioned earlier, we have a resource center at our agency. If you need information, brochures, we even have some items that we've purchased for persons with disabilities. We can share with you different types of tools when a person is disabled that can make their life easier. You're welcome to come in and look at the items that we have. Certain things are checked out. Most of the things you can just walk out the door with. And then the newest program that we have is called Options Counseling, where we're working with nursing facilities that have an individual that wants to move out of the nursing facility and they're non-Medicaid, meaning either Medicare or private pay. And what we do is we go in and counsel with them on what their options are in moving back into the community. What is it that they need? Do they have a home to move back to? If they do they need provider services to help them while they get home? If they don't, is it an apartment? Is it a house that they're needing? So this is what we will do: one-on-one, face-to-face counseling with them and provide them with all the options available and help them navigate the system. And then some of the new initiatives that we are getting into as an ADRC is Community Care Transitions Program, which is, we're in the planning stages of this. And the way that this is going to work is that if you have a loved one that's in a hospital, for example, and they fall under a certain condition, let's say congestive heart failure, and that person has been in and out of the hospital, then someone will go meet with them before they're discharged to see what it is that they are needing, what their needs are, when they're going to get home, and then meet with them once they get home to help them make sure that they're accessing whatever it is that they need. And the goal of the program is so that they don't get readmitted back into the hospital or get put into a nursing facility. So the other thing that we were doing, which we're not anymore, but we're still partnering with an agency that is, and you've heard a lot about the Insurance Exchange Navigator program. It does not apply to you, and I repeat this again, does not apply to you if you already have Medicare and you have Medicaid. This is only for those individuals that have no insurance or small employers that have employees that they do not provide insurance for. One of our partner agencies has picked up this grant, and we will be assisting them in disseminating the information because many of the callers and consumers that we assist can benefit from this program. But if you know of someone, Amistad Community Health Center is one of the agencies that is also providing this, and Community Action Corporation of South Texas is also going to be providing this service. And if you're ever in need of our services, you have our information, you have the handout, the Area Agency on Aging, Aging and Disability Resource Center. Give us a call. You may not need our services today, but you may know someone, or you may know someone in the future that may be in need of our services. Yes, ma'am.
The Community Care Transition Program is a income limitation, or?
No, that's going to be based on need. It's not going to be based on income. And the hospital will be giving a list of those that fall under those there's 5 categories. We're in the process of working with area hospitals that have a high readmittance rate and helping them bring the rates down.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, and now we'll take a quick break before we resume with the program. So you have 10 minutes to up and stretch and warm up if you're cold like I am.